Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Code Man Movies. I'm a little late. I say I'm going to do these things on Tuesday. Life happens and gets in the way. Monday was just a busy day. Tuesday, I went and helped my grandparents. Yesterday, the movie theater that I usually go to is actually closing. This Sunday will be the last day it's open. So yesterday, I had to go and do a movie marathon there just to celebrate the movie theater and enjoy my last day with that movie theater and with the crew. So it's been a busy week so far. So today we are putting up the podcast episode. It's a bit late, but hey, at least you get it, I say you're going to get it eventually, and you get it. So, that's a good thing. So without further ado, guys, get yourself a alcoholic beverage or whatever kind of beverage you got. I have it in a styrofoam cup because I have no more clean cups because I'm a lazy mother effer who doesn't want to wash his dishes. So, yeah. But I'll wash them after this. I promise. So today I'm drinking coffee with some cream and some pecan whiskey, and it just gives it like it's a turtle coffee too. It's Dunkin's Turtle Coffee. So it's just a delicious, hyper energy kind of drink. I don't know. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay. Guys, so without further ado, let's get into some movies, shall we? I didn't do everything I was supposed to do because I'm also unprepared. Something you guys know about me is I can be a little unprepared sometimes. I try to be as prepared as possible, but it doesn't always work. So yeah, let's see if things start working here. Come on. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? I hope so. Anyways, guys, let's move on with movies. First movie I want to talk about is a movie watched in my film club. It was a rom-com week, I think. So someone picked 10 Things I Hate About You. I had never seen this movie. This is a movie I've been, trying to see for many different years now. Heath Ledger is the main actor in this show, and I've been ever since The Dark Knight. I think that's the movie I ever saw with Heath in it. I was a huge fan of Heath Ledger, and so yeah, this is a movie that was on my list of ones I really need to see, and I absolutely love this movie. I will be going back and watching this movie again at some point. Just an absolutely nice little, beautiful little 90s, I believe it was 99 when this movie came out. Beautiful little 99 movie. It's so sweet. It's cliche, yes, but it's a 90s movie that is really enjoyable. It's a great little rom-com. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this movie. Younger Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's weird seeing him as a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but, fantastic in the movie. All the acting in this movie is really great. Like I said, the plot is something, we've seen this before, but it's Heath Ledger, and I forget the name of the gal. What's the name of the gal? I can't remember. Anyways, the point is, beautiful chemistry between the two actors, and this really is just an enjoyable movie. The actors just made it something great, I think. They took this cliche thing, and the actors just really helped make it great, along with the direction of the movie, of course. This is just a nice little rom-com. Heath Ledger is absolutely incredible. It's hard to believe when watching this movie that he would go on to play someone like the Joker. It just blows my mind, really. He was such a phenomenal actor, and it's unfortunate that we lost him so soon. It's weird. He died the age that I am now, and it's just insane. We could have gotten so much more with him. I would have loved to have seen what his career would have been, after The Dark Knight, honestly. I just loved everything. I loved everything about this movie, everything, even down to the bloopers at the end. I love when the 90s had bloopers at the end of their movies during the end credits. I absolutely love that. Again, it's cliche, it's cheesy, it's a romantic comedy. It's just a movie to enjoy. I love, I've always seen the scene of Heath Ledger on the bleachers, and I love that scene even more watching it in the context of the movie. There were so many things I had heard about this movie and just never seen about it, and it's just such an enjoyable movie, guys. It really is. If you have not seen this movie, it's really good, guys. I give this one like an 8 out of 10. Like I said, there's some cliche, there's some cheesy moments, but it's a romantic comedy, guys. What do you expect, So that's 10 Things I Hate About You. Next up, guys, we're going to talk about the second season of Miracle Workers. It's the Dark Ages. I talked last week about the first season and how I really enjoyed the premise of it. I really enjoyed that first season. The second season takes place, as it says, in the Dark Ages. Roles are switched up a bit. Daniel Radcliffe's character is a prince, son of a king. Steve Buscemi is this guy who picks up crap. His last name is shit grabber or something like that, something weird like that. His daughter, that daughter girl, I forget the actress's name. And then you have the guy from Deadpool. He's kind of like the manservant to Daniel Radcliffe's character and his father. I didn't enjoy this season as much as the first. I really didn't. It's still enjoyable enough. There are some funny scenes. This is a good show just to kind of watch and not have to think. It's got some heart. It's got some great humor. I like that roles were kind of reversed. And I'm not, I gotta say, the last season kind of had this will they or won't they relationship between Daniel Radcliffe and the gal. And at the end it kind of happens, kind of doesn't. This one 100% makes it happen. I don't want to see any more of that now. Like, we had 2 seasons where they're kind of like falling in love. We don't need them to fall in love. I just don't need that. So, and I've already started watching the third, and that's already happening, and I wish they didn't. It's something of a negative for me already, and this Western one, I forget what it's called. I don't know. I've only watched like the first episode, really, of Miracle Workers. This season was just a little bit more bland for me. It was, and the premise, there's really not anything of a premise to it. It's just that there's this kingdom, and there's this family, and the gal and the family wants to do more, and, Daniel Radcliffe is just a prince that's not a very good prince. That's really about it. This poster's weird. Have you guys, look how freaking tall they look. Why do they look so tall? Is that a creative choice? That's where they actually are. Why? I don't know, I just noticed that about that poster. That's bugging me. Yeah, so overall, guys, there's some good bits. The relationship between father and daughter, the relationship between the servant guy and Prince is enjoyable, but it's not quite the first season. Just not quite there. Still quite enjoyable. Not quite the first, though. I'll give this a 6 out of 10. It's still something, if you're looking, if it's a cold winter day and you're stuck inside since winter is coming, this is an enjoyable one to watch. I will say that. And it's 10 episodes. They're 20-minute episodes. You can binge this in half a day and still have plenty of day left. So, if you like Steve Buscemi, if you like Daniel Radcliffe, check this show out. I'm definitely going to be finishing The Wild West, season 3 of it, and I will be interested to see what they do with season 4 and beyond. I want them to find some more creative premises, though. I really like that first one of where, we have God and he's a loser, and then you have people below him helping him and doing all this stuff. I like that. I hope they get into more interesting premises, whereas this one really just doesn't have a premise. It's just 2 families that are wacky and weird, and yeah. So yeah, Miracle Worker Season 2, 6 out of 10. Not quite as good as the first, but still enjoyable. Next up, guys, is Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Stupid title. I don't like the title. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. Serial killer that was killed when I was 3 months old? No, more than that, 6 months old. When I was just a baby. But it happened not far from me, about 3 hours from where I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. True story. From what I know of the story, this show was pretty factual, actually. And I like that they kept it as factual as possible. They also did something interesting with this. They tried to always make the story from the perspective of the people and not from Dahmer himself. I found that interesting. I don't think that always worked. In certain episodes, it absolutely worked, but not all of them. Evan Peters, who plays Dahmer, is absolutely incredible. I absolutely forgot this is an actor. It almost felt like at times you're watching the real things, which makes it even more unnerving and just awful to watch. the first half of the season was a lot better for me than the second half. The last 4 episodes, this show's kind of weird. This is my biggest negative of the show, actually, is the first episode starts the day he gets caught. And the second episode kind of keeps going with that. And then it goes back in time, and then it goes forward, and back in time, and forward, and back in time. And there's a couple episodes that focus specifically on the victims. There's like 2 episodes specifically on the victim. Like that, I think episode 6 was the deaf guy. I can't remember his name now, and I should, because the victims are the people we should be remembering. And I can't remember. But the point is, the episodes focused on that, and then the final 4 episodes focus on what happens after and aftermath. And it was just, it's very messy as far as what time period we're in and stuff like that. They said they wanted to focus more on, like, the story through other people's eyes. I almost would have liked to have seen this show as a longer show and focusing on what the victims went through the day leading up to it and such like that. What they did with episode 6 is what I wish they had just done for all the victims almost, and gotten Dahmer's story through that. I think that would have maybe just been a little less messy. I don't know. I really enjoyed episode 6. That's why I'm thinking that maybe if we had just gone through the victim's eyes for everything and not worried so much about what Dahmer was going through, might have been a better show. What am I trying to say? We kind of talked about that. What this show also shows as well is just how terrible police was with this stuff, and how Dahmer should have been caught a lot sooner than he actually was. The complaint of his neighbors. Just, if you don't know the story of the one victim who was 14 or 15, I believe, and police found him outside naked. His neighbors called and said this kid's outside naked, and they led him back into Dahmer's apartment where he was killed 5 minutes after they left. Not 5 minutes, but, you know, he was killed that night. It's absolutely awful, and it's just insane that stuff was let go. And it makes you just realize that was 30 years ago. It's insane to realize how much we disrespected people of color and disrespected people of different sexuality. It blows my mind. It really does. It makes me happy, though, knowing that we are going through change, though. I'm gonna, there's the Women King that came out this last week and has done fairly well. There is a romantic comedy, R-rated comedy coming out this week, Bros. That's a gay comedy. I'm glad we're seeing change in the world. I really am, because people are people, and I don't like getting political talk, but that is something that's very important to me. We are all people, and we need to treat everyone as people. You just don't know what's going on in people's lives, and the fact that these people were living in the same apartment building where people were murdered, and they had a feeling it was going on, and police ignored them. That's awful. That's absolutely awful. The fact that this 14, 15-year-old kid, just because he was gay, the police didn't care and brought him up to a killer's apartment, I can't stand that. That drives me nuts. And I hope we're in a world that's slowly starting. We are in a world that's slowly starting to change, and I hope it gets faster. We need this change now. I truly believe that. I really do. Yeah, there's your political side rant for today. Yeah. I'm gonna take a drink. What I also like about this is it doesn't necessarily glamorize anything. You see some deaths, yes. I don't think it glamorizes it, though. I don't think it shows it in a way where it's, you know what I mean? It's not like a Saw type situation where it's not super gory. It's gory for sure at certain points, and it definitely, it It shows enough to show the situation and make you feel disgusted by it because it's awful and horrible what happens, but it's not glamorizing it. I also love that something I did enjoy with the aspects of looking at Dahmer was it showed his childhood. And it didn't necessarily make you feel for Dahmer, but it made you realize it made you realize just how awful his childhood was, and how it makes you think, did these things contribute to why he did this? I've been doing a little bit of course, after I've watched this, I wanted to see how factual it was and such like that. And I've done some reading. And one particular thing I found was that they wouldn't call Dahmer a psychopath. A psychopath has no remorse, does not care, thinks murdering was deserved. Dahmer specifically said in interviews he never wanted to hurt anyone. He just couldn't control himself when people left him. When he had this anxiety, this fear that people were going to leave him, that's when he killed. And that's something I find interesting. As a child, his mother abandoned him, his father abandoned him at times. And it was just that childhood trauma maybe that came out and caused him to do some of these things, which is insane. Again, I'm not saying Dahmer was a good person or anything like that. I'm just saying it's very interesting to know, or to not, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's very interesting to wonder if any of this could have been prevented if, as a child, he wasn't abandoned or anything like that. The show specifically talks about how his dad doesn't want his brain studied or anything like that. So we'll never know in that sense if his brain was anything different. But we know from like different serial killers that their brains weren't altered. They were normal brains. They were just, in some sense, born evil. And it's just really interesting. I like that aspect of just wondering what causes someone to do these things. It's just a very interesting thing. One other negative I have with the show as well is the last episode specifically focuses a little bit on Gacy. It specifically shows him killing a child, torturing a child, and it just didn't feel needed. It's really interesting to know that the day that Dahmer was baptized was the day that Gacy was sentenced, was given the death sentence. That is really interesting. I didn't need to see it, though, in this particular series. That bugged me a little bit. There was also a mention of Ed Gein. I feel like they spent a little too much time on it, in a sense. It could have definitely... It was a lot better than the Gacy one. The Ed Gein situation, they just said, hey, this happened in the past. This is what we can do to help you. It's definitely very interesting, though, the connection between Ed Gein and him as well. And another, Ed Gein's house is not far from where I live as well. I've been to that area as well, and that's just also very interesting. At the end of the day, guys, this is it was a show I watched very quickly. With all 10 episodes together, I think it's around a 6-hour show. I watched it within 24 hours. I got all 10 episodes in within a day's time, and it's definitely something that haunts you. It sticks with you. It was harder to sleep that night for sure after watching this. As far as acting goes, technical aspects go, and most of the facts, it's a very good show. I also think it does a fairly good job of making you care about the victims a bit more. Like I said, I wish I had done a little bit more. Episode 6 was my absolute favorite episode when it shows the deaf character. I forget his name, Roy or something. I can't remember, and it's driving me nuts that I can't, because that's what they wanted to do with the purpose of the show, and I still wish they had kind of done better, is they wanted to show the victims. And I think if they had done an episode each with the victim or something along those lines, I think this could have been better, because that was my favorite episode, was episode 6. At the end of the day, guys, this is an enjoyable show. This isn't something I'm going to say you should all watch, because it's hard to watch. It's difficult to watch. It's not at all easy to watch. It doesn't shy away from a lot of things. And it is awful what happened. At the end of the day, guys, I'll give this show... I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it's very messy at times. It just goes back and forth a lot. I would have liked to have seen more attention to the victims. And, you know, it's just a hard show to watch sometimes. I'm very interested. They've announced the Conversations with Jeffrey Dahmer, the docuseries. I'm very interested in seeing that coming up in October here. So yeah, it's a very good show. If you are interested in this real crime stuff, it's one I will recommend, but it's not one I'm going to just necessarily recommend you just watch, because it is hard to watch. But it's definitely something I was interested in, just because I live so close to where this happened. And it wasn't that long ago. It was 30 years ago. Jeffrey Dahmer died the year I was born, and just insane. It really is. Next up, guys, Thor, Love and Thunder. Now, I've talked about this movie a couple times and how I really did not like this movie. So, the reason why I watched this one this time around was because it's on Disney Plus. They have the IMAX enhanced stuff. I like watching movies and seeing the IMAX. What they decided to film in IMAX, especially when the movie's not entirely filmed in IMAX, only certain scenes. So that's really why I went into this. So with the IMAX, there's really not many scenes in this movie with IMAX. There is the first battle sequence, which is stupid battle sequence with the Guardians is terrible. There's bits and pieces on the moon that are in IMAX, and then the ending sequence is in IMAX. A couple scenes where they're at Zeus's place that's in IMAX. Really not a lot of IMAX. So I was kind of disappointed in that, in a sense. There could have been, especially the moon sequence. The moon sequence starts in IMAX, goes back to regular, and then goes back to IMAX again. That's such beautiful black and white. I will say that is a big positive for this movie. There's that beautiful black and white moment where they're on that moon or whatever it is. And great opportunity to expand that format and just have some really great IMAX sequences. And it's not really utilized. It really isn't. Something else I've also noticed about this movie, I don't know if I've talked about it in other times I've talked about it, the soundtrack is just a bunch of hits to try to make you enjoy the movie more than you are, it seems like. It seems like every 5 minutes there's another song. And it's obnoxious and annoying, I really realized this time around. And it was just annoying. I also noticed watching this as well, specifically the scene where they're fighting in Asgard. They're background people not punching anything. You can tell that they were fighting the CGI creatures that aren't actually there. And they didn't do a good job interacting. Look in the background of that. I mean, it's bad. Like, they're kicking, and the monster's, like, this far away from them. Like, what are you kicking at? Like, it's terribly done. I don't think those creatures look great either. Taika said that his children designed it, and he chose to create them that way. They don't look good. They weren't done well, as far as my opinion goes. I like the idea that your kids created the monsters, because it's what scares them. But at the same time, they need to look good in your live-action movie, and they just don't. That drove me nuts. And Thor's just a flippin' idiot in this movie. I hate how much of an idiot he is. He's crashing through roofs. I really hate the whole hammer, axe, love triangle bull crap. I can't stand that. It's so stupid. Visuals are iffy. I've also been seeing all these deleted scenes popping up on YouTube from this movie. And this movie just had no plan for it, it seemed. It seemed there was no writing. It was just, let's go improvise, guys. There was a scene with Zeus teaching Thor how to use the thunderbolt. How does that happen? There's also a scene, it looks like, before they go fight Gore at the end, where Jane's in the hospital and Zeus is for some reason they're eating a sucker. Why? I mean, this movie just seems like it was a mess from the start. That I don't know what happened with this. I mean, Gore is such a cool villain. Christian Bale did such a great job with it. He's barely in the movie. I don't understand that. Stupid thing with the goats. You know, it bugs me. It really does bug me. I also watched a YouTube video where they were talking about how Thor Ragnarok did stuff right and how Love and Thunder didn't. And they specifically talked about the stage scene. In Thor Ragnarok, they're doing the stage scene with Matt Damon and Hemsworth, where it recalls Thor the Dark World where Loki died. And it was a good scene in the sense it was funny. It also reminded us of what happened in the past. It showed us that Loki is in control of Asgard, but he's playing as Odin. It did stuff for the story. Whereas this scene in Love and Thunder is just there for the laughter. There's no purpose. You take that scene out of the movie, it doesn't change anything. At least in Ragnarok, we saw that Loki is controlling Asgard and how big of a mess Asgard must be because of that. It's showing it's showing the people it's so different between the two. I remember hearing that it was leaked that Melissa McCarthy is going to be in the stage, but I went, oh my gosh, this sounds like it's going to be great. And it was just not. I hate that scene. Absolutely can't stand that scene. So at the end of the day, guys, this movie's just a mess, and this will be the last time that I watch this movie, probably for a good long while. I gotta say, this year, as far as movies go, have been just terribly disappointing. We have Black Panther coming. I really enjoy the first Black Panther. I did not love it. I know I'm not... I mean, I would give it a movie like a 7 out of 10. We'll talk about that movie later in the year, obviously. And, well, I guess in a couple months, I'll be watching that movie before Black Panther 2. So, yeah, we'll be talking about that movie later on. But I do not love that movie as much as everyone else. But it's still an enjoyable movie. I hope that this movie can make us forget about earlier movies this year. I really do. And then there's also She-Hulk going on. I watched the new episode today, and it's absolutely terrible in my opinion. We'll talk more about it when the show's done, because I just do not have much to say week to week about that show. I nearly canceled my Disney Plus this week, but there's like 2 episodes left. I should finish it. So yeah, guys, Marvel is just, it's losing me. It's really losing me. I really did enjoy Miss Marvel this year. Moon Knight, the more I've been thinking about it, the less I actually like it. It's still enjoyable, but it's losing me, guys. It's losing me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. This movie's just a mess. So yeah. Next up, guys, speaking of overrated movies, this is my #1 overrated movie of all time, almost. I remember when this movie came out in 2009. I did not get to go see it in theaters. At the time, my parents just did not take me to the theater ever. Avatar. Yeah, I remember when this came out. I'm not big into science fiction all the time necessarily, especially like highbrow ones where there's like all these new creatures and stuff. Like this movie has, there's weird rhino creatures, tiger creatures, dog creatures. Not my cup of tea. So I will say that, starting out, that going into this movie, I went, this movie's probably not going to be for me. But I remember watching it at home for the first time, and just immediately was just like, my head hurts watching this movie. And I think I only watched it, I maybe watched it one other time. I had a roommate back in 2013 that really liked this movie, and I watched it with him. And I realized just watching the movie how many questions I have. And watching it again this time, I really didn't remember much. And watching it again this time, I realized I still have questions. After 30 minutes of this movie, I feel like I am watching the third movie in a franchise. I feel like there's so many questions that I have here that they kind of answer, but they really don't. Why is it that whenever they walk on something on this planet, it glows? What are all these creatures, really? What are these coffin avatar things that they can just transport you into avatar bodies? So many questions. So we have Sam Worthington, who is a twin. I wish we had gotten Sam Worthington's twin for a first movie. That could help explain everything, such like that. And then he dies at the end, and then this movie could have been the second. I think I might have enjoyed it just a bit more because I would have understood what was going on. I will say this. Visuals are absolutely great. There are moments, though, where I don't think they are. The rhinoceros creature looks terrible in my book. It's clearly a CGI creature. The dogs, the tiger. I think the little dragon creatures are really cool. That I think is great. The writing in this movie is really bad. It's cheesy. It's bad. It's James Cameron, though, the guy who did Titanic. It should have almost been expected. But I think in Titanic it works. It's a love story, which this is kind of a love story too, but at the same time it's more of this guy becoming part of the culture and the people, and it's just I just do not think it's good. The characters are also nothing. Sam Worthington character, he's a Marine. His brother did this before. That's about all we know. Zoe Saldana's character, she has a dad. She's a person that lives with these people. She's a warrior kind of thing. That's about all we know. Sigourney Weaver's character, she smokes. She can be angry at times, but then she's also really nice at times. That's about all we know. Giovanni Ribisi, he's a dick. That's about all we know. I mean, there's one little character traits. We know nothing about these people. I don't care about any of them. When Sigourney Weaver characters die, I kind of cared, but I didn't. I didn't feel for any character in this movie, and I just think the writing is just absolutely terrible. It really is. This movie is also way too long. 2 hours and 45 minutes. I mean, wow. This movie also is messy. There's like 5 different movies in this. The first half hour is Sam Worthington, he's gonna be doing this. And then he's like training to become part of the people. And then he's with the people and he's becoming the people. He likes the people. And then then there's friction and then ending. And it's just, there's so much that happens in this movie. And it's just, it's way too long. And the pacing is just not great in my opinion. Where am I at? Like I said, it feels like they're moving the franchise. I feel like I missed so much, and I wish there was a first movie setting more things up for this one, I guess, so that I understood this one more. It just feels like there's so much information you're expected to learn, and it's just overload. And then there's also scenes where James Cameron shows and tells, and it's just, we get it. We get it. And then there's just stupid things as well. The fact that Jake Sully is the 5th guy ever to realize that if you take your dragon thing over the big bad dragon and just drop down on top of it and just cook yourself up, that works. Really? That's the thing? I just didn't buy it. I really didn't. I saw this in 3D as well. It does have beautiful 3D. It does help you feel more into the world. It's great use of 3D. Doesn't make the movie that much better, though, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this, and I also think people won't disagree on me on this. I don't think that many people talk about Avatar anymore. I don't think that many people know that Avatar 2 is coming out. Do I think it's going to make a buttload of money? Yes. Because it's going to have that 3D quality to it. We want to go into this world. And I actually have high hopes for the second Avatar. From the first trailer that I have seen, I'm thinking it could be better. It looks a little better for me. We'll see. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, guys, I think this is the most overrated movie of all time. I think people saw this movie, and with the visuals and the 3D, it made them like it more. And they didn't actually look at it. And I don't think that many people have gone back to watch this at home. That's the thing. This movie has not stuck with anyone. It's just not a movie anyone's talking about anymore. And yes, it's a little bit of an older movie. It came out in 2009. It's weird that we are getting the sequel to this like 15 years later almost. Yeah, at the end of the day, though, this is a very overrated movie in my opinion. Not my favorite. If you do like it, though, I'm glad. I always say that film is subjective. There is no right or wrong. That's why I love movies so much. You can like it, you can hate it. Great. I love that we can talk about it, debate it. Which, if you do love this movie, for the love of God, start commenting down below and tell me why you love this movie. And maybe I'll try watching it again and looking through it with that perspective, because sometimes that helps. Sometimes it doesn't. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was actually talking to my movie crew about that movie last night, and we had just watched it in film club, as I talked about last week, I think. And the things that, the Melissa is the name of the gal that I was talking to last night. The things Melissa was like, I love this. I was like, I don't. It's so dumb. I hate that. But she loved it. I'm so glad that she loves it, and she was explaining why she loves it. The reasons why she loved it, I hated it. I love that. I love that we can have opinions and still be friends at the end of the day with movies. I love that. I'm not ever going to get mad at someone because they like a movie or dislike a movie. I might go, oh my God, how do you hate that movie? That blows my flipping mind. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. But I don't mean it. It's just, you know what I mean. If you love movies, you understand what I'm saying right now. And that's why I love movies. Anyways, guys, Avatar. I'm going to give this movie like a 6 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's just not that good. Did it deserve to get nominated for Best Picture? God, no. Oh, hell no. Technical awards, yes. I'll give it that. That's about it. Next up, guys, is Don't Worry, Darling, even though that poster just says Welcome to Victory. That poster's, it doesn't have Don't Worry, Darling. If I was someone that wasn't a movie person, I would go, the movie called Welcome to Victory. That's interesting. Anyways, guys, this is a movie directed by Olivia Wilde. She did one other movie that she has directed, Booksmart, which was an enjoyable coming-of-age comedy that I kind of need to watch again, actually. I want to rewatch it. I think it's on Hulu right now. But anyways, guys, this is her follow-up movie to that. And there has been so many behind-the-scenes drama. It first started with Olivia Wilde saying that Shia LaBeouf was first cast in Harry Styles' role and then got fired. Shia LaBeouf came out and said, she didn't fire me, I quit. The set was a mess. Then there was this whole, did Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine during one of the premieres for this movie? And then there was Florence Pugh hates Olivia Wilde, and that Olivia Wilde is a little snobby little butthead. So much drama was going into this movie. I had seen one trailer for this movie, and it looks interesting enough, but it doesn't look good. So I was semi-excited to see this movie, more because of the drama for behind the scenes of this movie, and I just wanted to see, I don't know why the behind the scenes drama makes you want to see a movie more, but it kind of does. So yeah, guys, went into this movie going, and we'll see. Thing I have to say about this movie, this is one of those movies, like Frogs. I'm going to compare this movie to Frogs, a movie that I watched a few months ago and talked about on an episode of my podcast, of how this movie is, one thing happens, someone reacts, And then another thing happens, a person reacts. And then another thing happens, a person reacts. Another thing happens, a person reacts. It's the same thing over and over again. Something happens. Florence Pugh sees it. Goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Very well, might I add. Florence Pugh is absolutely amazing in this movie. She's the best part. She's the reason why this movie is not absolutely garbage. So she sees something, goes, oh my God, 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 oh my God. And then something else happens. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Another thing happens. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Another thing happens. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And that's it. Bad things happen. Florence reacts. That's about it. Harry Styles is an actor that I can see becoming a great actor. As of now, he's not that great of an actor. He doesn't do much here. He's also acting against Chris Pine and Florence, both of who are great actors. Both have been acting for a while now. So it just makes him look really bad in this movie. It's almost like he gives this terrible performance. It's not a terrible performance. He's doing great, honestly. I could see him becoming a really great actor. He doesn't have that great of a direction, though. And he's against these great actors, and it makes him look bad. Chris Pine is really great in this movie. He's in the movie for maybe 10 minutes. He really only has a scene towards the beginning, a scene towards the middle, and then a scene towards the end. That's really about it. He's really only in 3 bigger scenes, like 10-minute scenes, and he's in one like 3-minute scene towards the end. And that's about it. He's really not in the movie much. But he's great in those couple of scenes, I will say that. This movie is also kind of cliche. You get about 30 minutes in, you go, I think I know what's happening. And then it gets to that point where it tells you what happened. You go, yep, that's what's happening. And then when you do find it, when the twist of this movie, there's a twist in this movie. When it's revealed, that's pretty much the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie. A couple other things happen, and then the movie just kind of ends. There's no resolution to this movie. It's just you find out what's going on, and that's about it. I also have so many flippin' questions about this movie. There's so many unanswered things. For example, this plane in the movie, light spoiler, it's really not a spoiler, but this plane shows up in the movie. I have no reason why it's in the movie. I don't understand what is going on with this plane. What is it supposed to show? I honestly don't know. Obviously, it was a big part of the marketing. It showed up in the trailer. It shows up here. Why? What is it? If someone knows, please tell me down below. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I dozed off. I really don't know. I don't know what that plane is. I don't get it. It just brings her to a spot, and that's about it. Plane has nothing. There's a lot of things like that in this movie. There's just so many unanswered questions that I don't understand. And I just don't like that. And again, the worst part of this for me is just the ending. Towards the end of the movie, Florence Pugh's character does something that she did earlier in the movie, and it just did a thing. So, maybe I need to talk spoilers about this. I don't know. This movie's just not good, guys. Technical aspects are great. The music in it is great. Costume design is great. Cinematography is great. I think some of the direction's great. Other parts just not. I also feel like we're going to get, similar to what I was talking about with Thor, we're going to get a lot of deleted scenes with this movie that are just going to make the movie even messier. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but this movie's just a mess. It's not good. It's not good at all. I don't know if any of the behind the scenes is true. I'm just noticing that there's a person in that doorway. You guys see this? There's a person standing there. I didn't notice that. I don't know what that is. Is that supposed to be Chris Pine's character? If anybody's seen the movie, hold on. I'm zooming in on this because I'm just noticing this. I love when I'm talking about movies with you guys and I start noticing these things on the poster. I've done it twice today now. But look, there's a person right there. I want to make sure this is on because otherwise I'm just talking to myself and just, playing with the mouse. But, oh, you can't really see what I'm pointing at because I'm in the way. My chair's in the way. Oh, come on, you turd bomber. There's a person. I can't move it. But there's a person in the doorway of their house. That's interesting. I don't know what that means, though. That doesn't happen in a movie. I'm so confused by this movie. I really am. I don't get it. It's not good, guys. Don't worry, Darlene. It's just not good. Is it bad? No. There's some technical aspects of this movie that are really great, actually. And because of that, it gets the yellow rating, as I call it, the yellow card. For me, my ratings go 1, 2, 3. Red card, bad, 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 bad. Don't see it. 4, 5 is okay. Yellow card. Green is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're good movies. This movie's yellow. It's a 4 out of 10 for me. I will never watch this movie again. I really won't. Unless someone's watching it and I'm just there, fine. This movie drives me nuts. Florence Pugh is great, though. I will say that. That's about all I got. Otherwise, this movie just has so many questions that I don't know. All right, guys. Last movie that I saw this week was Barbarian. This is a movie I've been hearing great things about, and I've been wanting to see. It was not playing at the theater that I usually go to, so I go to a different theater to see it, and I just hadn't taken the time to do that yet. But I was in Rice Lake, helping my grandparents on Tuesday, and theater was there. So I thought, might as well go check it out. I don't know what to say about this movie, guys. I want to tell you, do not watch the trailer. The poster, that's all you need. That's all you need. Only look at this poster. This movie is absolutely incredible. It's insane. I don't want to talk about this movie. It's so good, though, guys. Go see this movie. It's insane. I will say this. This is a tension-filled movie. From the minute this movie starts, I think I just held my breath. And there was brief moments where I let it out, but the entire time you're going, oh, something's going to happen, something's going to happen, something's going to happen, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. And something I do love about this movie is there's some dumb things that characters do, as in all horror movies, but there's also some smart things that they do. One teeny tiny little spoiler I'm going to give away that's not really a spoiler is there is a character that offers a character a drink, and that other character does not take it. And the character later on goes, I see you didn't drink your drink. It makes sense. You don't take a drink from a stranger. So they are smart in this movie at times, but then they also make some other dumb decisions, which you let it go, honestly, because of some of the smart decisions they make and just the movie itself. It's insane. Acting is absolutely great in this movie. I won't reveal who's in this movie. I won't say nothing. It's just, the acting is really good in this movie. I will say that. I will say this movie takes place mostly in a house. The house is a character in itself. You find out things about this house. It's very interesting. I won't say anything more about that. This is an R-rated movie. There are some gory-ish scenes. They're not overly gory, though. You visualize it in your head more than anything, and it's great. Also, humor in this movie, for those that have seen it, tape measure, oh my god. I was laughing, I was dying. It was so flippin' hilarious. Not a lot else I want to say, honestly, guys. This is such a great, interesting movie. There's some dumb stuff for sure. But boy, is this a great movie. I was talking about it with my people at the theater last night. We just had such a good time talking about this movie, spoiling it. Such an enjoyable movie. It really is. Absolutely love Barbarian. This is... There are just some moments where there's some dumb things that happen. Other than that, this is really enjoyable. I'm going to give this movie 9 out of 10, guys. I really enjoyed this movie. I love this movie. And I might go see it again in the theaters before it's out. I think this is a Fox Searchlight movie, so it's probably going to be on Hulu soon. But oh my god, if you can get into the theater to see this, the sound design, absolutely fantastic. Just a movie that builds up so much tension. And when I finally breathed at the end, I was just so happy. because, oh my God. And it's great that there are moments of humor that made me let go of this breadth, but I was just, from the minute the movie starts, I'm like uneasy with this movie. So good. Such a great movie, guys. Go check out Barbarian. Now we're going to talk about movies coming out this week, guys. Smile. It will be out in theaters starting tonight. This is a movie that I saw the teaser for, and I went, I am in. Only thing that really happens in the teaser is a woman walks by a door and there's a guy just smiling. I don't know anything else about this movie, but damn, is that a good poster. I love this poster. If this movie is really good, I might have to buy that poster. I love this poster. It's so creepy. It's so great. I'm so excited for this movie. I might see it tonight. I'm not sure. Because as far as excitement level goes, though, this is like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I'm really excited for this movie. I'm just thinking it's going to have some bad horror cliches and be a cheap horror movie. Reviews have been pretty good on this, though, I think. I haven't really looked at them. I think the tomato meter, though, is at like the 80s or 90s, so that's a good sign. The movie I think I really am going to go see tonight, though, is Bros, guys. I was talking earlier about how I'm so glad that the world is changing, that we are accepting people as people. I'm so glad that we are getting a bigger budgeted comedy movie that is about gay guys. That's great. We should. There is definitely... I'm so excited for this movie, guys. There is no reason why we can't laugh at gay men when we laugh at straight people. I'm just so excited for the changes that we are seeing. I'm so glad this movie's coming out. I love Trainwreck. I love Bridesmaids. I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall, guys. Those are 3 movies in the title. They all have something to do with this movie. I'm very excited for it. Am I excited to see gay scenes, necessarily? Because I think there is some going to be... it's rated R. I think for graphic sex scenes and stuff like that. No. I'll be taking a drink. I'll be going, okay. And then watching the movie. But you know what? Love is love. And I'm excited for this. Billy Eichner, I can't say his name. I love that guy. I have been watching some of his Billy on the Street videos. He's absolutely hilarious. If he had any part of this and the writing, I'm absolutely excited to see what happens with this. I think reviews are good on this movie so far. I'm very excited. I think I'm going to go see it tonight. There's a 5 o'clock showing. 3 hours from now, actually. I think I might go. Because let's support this kind of movie. Let's support this. Let's support positive change. People are people. Let's do it. So I'm very excited for Bros, guys. Really, really excited. I really am. 10 out of 10 excitement for me. I'm really excited. And comedy is the other thing that really makes me excited about this. Name the last big comedy that has been out and has done real well. Comedy is something that is slowly just taking a sugar honey iced tea. I don't like it. I want to be in a theater with strangers and just laugh. Everything going on in the world, we need to laugh. So I'm very excited about this. Spooky season is upon us. It's good to have a laugh. I've already kind of gotten into spooky season. I've been watching a few horror movies. Pearl, X, Dahmer, a couple other things I've been watching that's definitely horror-filled. Barbarian. I'm excited for a laugh before we get into spooky season. I'm very excited about this movie. Last thing I want to talk about, guys. I've never talked about a book on this because it's Codeman Movies. We talk more about movies, a little bit of TV show in there. But I want to talk about a book. This book specifically talks about a movie. This book is about the making of Mad Max Fury Road. A movie that I saw 15 times in theaters. I absolutely love Mad Max Fury Road. And a book that's written by Kyle Buckingham. He is a journalist. And he just, during COVID, he wanted to explore the making of this movie. He had heard all these rumors and such about the movie. Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy not getting along. The movie just kind of being a mess. Just all this drama. And so he decided to interview basically anybody and everybody that really worked on this movie, had a part in this movie. I think it was like 100 people, over 100 people that he interviewed for this book. And it's kind of written in a documentary standpoint. It has a lot of a person's name and what they said. I kind of wish this was a long documentary instead on the making of the movie. But it's very interesting also in book form and just learning everything about this movie. For example, I didn't know that this idea essentially was made right after like the third Mad Max movie. This was created like in the early 90s. This movie was 20 years in the process of making. It had so many issues. Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy, yes, they didn't get along for reasons that you learn in this book. There was a lot of tension, and just so much stuff that happened behind the scenes of the making of this movie. It's absolutely fascinating. And just this book goes over the entire process, year by year almost, of what happened and where the movie was at each stage in the year. And it is so fascinating. If you're a fan of Mad Max Fury Road, if you like movie making and you want to just realize how difficult it is to make a movie, especially a big budgeted movie like Mad Max Fury Road, this is a book to check out, guys. Such a fascinating book. I highly recommend this book. Like I said, it's a bit weirdly written in the sense that I like George Miller, for example. I know what his face looks like. So every time it says George Miller and there's a paragraph giving something that he said, in my head, I'm just seeing George Miller talk to me. I'm like, I wish this was in documentary form. Instead of me reading, Edgar Wright says this. I wish we could have just saw Edgar Wright talking about it. I wish we could see the Zoom calls that were done for this, because most of this, at the end of the book, it says a lot of Zoom calls were done. And that's how he found out these information. That's how he interviewed people. And that is what I'd really like to see. I hope that this gets turned into documentary, essentially, and we can just see those interviews. I hope those interviews were recorded so that we can just see this. Such a fascinating book, guys. It's a little over 300 pages. Not a super long book, but absolutely enjoyable. If you like anything to do with movies, movie making, Mad Max Fury Road, check this out. Such a great read. Absolutely love it, guys. Rating a book's weird. Like I said, it's a bit weird that it's a documentary, or that it's written in like a documentary form. So that kind of, it's weird to read it sometimes. Still enjoyable book. So much information in this book. I wish it went into details with certain information, just a teeny tiny bit more. But a very enjoyable book. I'll give this like an 8 out of 10, guys. This is an enjoyable book. I might do this occasionally. I usually read about one book a month. So I might maybe start reviewing some books for you guys. Yeah, especially if they have anything to do with movies or anything like that. But yeah, guys, that is about it for the week. That's all I have to talk about. Hopefully next week I will have a video up. When I have a video up, I'm not sure. Hopefully it'll be up by Wednesday, like I have said I want to do, because that is what I want. I want to have it up by Wednesday morning sometime for everyone to enjoy. Please, guys, comment down below. Talk about things. Let's have a discussion. If you have time, you can like the video. You can subscribe, all that crap. Share it with people. Let's just start talking about movies, guys. It's so wonderful to just sit and talk about movies and just have discussions and know that no matter what happens, we can still be friends afterwards. And that's why I love movies, guys. And I hope that you have enjoyed this discussion. I wouldn't call it a little discussion. What are we at? Almost an hour? Yeah, we're at 58 minutes. So yeah, guys, I hope you have an enjoyable week. I can't wait to come back next week and we'll talk a little bit more about movies. Until then, guys, have yourself a great week. And hey, we're into October. Start watching some spooky movies. So I know I will. All right, guys, have yourself a good one. We will see you next time.